Lucas,
Yes.
on average, how many Spider-Man are too many Spider-Man?
I'd say... Well, how many were in Spider-Verse?
6.
I would say that's the max. 6?
6 Spider-Man.
Yeah. 6 Spider-Man.
That's it. Why?
Well, no, actually there was 2 Spider-Women. And then there was 4 Spider-Men.
Oh, okay,
Well,
Spider-People.
Yeah, Spider-People. Yeah, I'd say 6 is the max Spider-People. Because imagine 6 spiders coming at you.
Spiders notoriously have how many
8
legs? Yes.
Fuck.
So
6 times 8. That's
oh, jeez. Welcome to a podcast now, episode 23.
Yeah, we'll say 23. If it's wrong,
Who gives a fuck?
we're a piece of shit.
This week or last week, a gigantic movie came out. The biggest movie of all time,
Huge.
arguably. 20 years in the making.
Yeah.
Spider-Man No Way Home, starring Tom Holland.
Tom Holland, Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield.
Oh! Spoiler alert for Spider-Man No Way Home. If you haven't seen this movie, they're not in it.
You
They're
can
not
type
in
it up. You can type it up and see that they're in it.
Look,
So
I feel like if you've been online,
yeah.
at this point you know it. If you haven't seen the movie anyway, I doubt we've spoiled it for you.
Yeah. I'm sorry if we have. I'm really
But
sorry.
we will spoil the
You
whole
can
movie.
Come and kill me.
Just come to his address
Yeah.
and kill him.
Yeah, you can stab me to death with
We didn't
hate.
even last like a minute before spoiling the movie. See, and that's what we're dealing with in spoiler culture now. Is that it's so easy to spoil something.
It is.
So,
But, I mean, I feel like every Spider fan saw it coming. You know what I mean? They were like, okay, it has something to do with the Spider-Verse. I've seen the trailers. I've seen Dr. Otto in the trailer.
yeah, it's in Green Goblin,
Yeah, Green Goblin. Like,
Electro,
of course
all
they,
the villains.
You know,
And the assumption would be, well, if the villains are in it, so are the heroes.
Yes.
Now, there are so many leaks about this movie. It was
Oh my
abundantly clear that they were going to be in it. But Andrew Garfield did such a fucking good job in interviews
really?
lying that he wasn't in the movie. Because
Wow.
Andrew Garfield had like 3 or 4 movies that are out this year, and he had multiple interviews for all these movies. And of course, everyone was asking him about Spider-Man, and he was lying the entire time, saying he wasn't in it. And he was doing a great job. It was very believable.
Wow.
So that just put a little bit
mean,
of doubt in people's minds.
That's good. I mean, he's not just the amazing Spider-Man.
Hmm.
He's the lying Spider-Man.
Yes.
Um,
No one that can ever take anything he says in an interview seriously now.
I love that. Because, honestly, he's very talented.
But yes, let's talk about Spider-Man No Way Home. I mean, the only news we would have is about this movie anyway. It's the top 3 highest grossing movie of all time in terms of like first weekend.
Yeah.
So it's massive.
Yeah.
Not quite at Endgame levels, but
No.
to be fair, we're in a pandemic.
That is true. And Endgame, I mean, well, it was the end game. Like, this is the end of a trilogy. But
And also the start of something new as well, which is very
Exactly.
interesting about this movie.
that's true.
And
That is
and
true.
the story of Tom Holland's Peter Parker has been a very long origin story, really. It's been an origin story, 3 movies in the making, instead of the other movies, which are, you get to it in the first movie and you're done.
Which I love.
Tobey
honestly.
Maguire and Andrew Garfield, they are Spider-Man by the end of the first movies. In this, though, it's by the end of his third one, he properly becomes Spider-Man.
Which is...
So let's start at the beginning then.
Yes.
Sorry, let's start at the end. The very, very end, you see Tom Holland, Spider-Man, new suit. He's poor. He's heard the great
fucking
power
poor.
comes great responsibility.
Yeah.
Like, he's now... No one knows his secret identity. We're now at a point where we've gotten the perfect, like, this is the definitive Spider-Man in the MCU going forward.
Yeah. Exactly.
And that's why they announced he's getting 3 more movies. We covered it last week. And the direction that they're going to go in is very clear by the end of this movie. You're going to see proper Spider-Man being Spider-Man instead of being Iron Boy Jr.
Yeah, exactly.
Or whatever.
I feel like it didn't fit. Especially, you know, the past 2 Spider-Men were poor as fuck. They're, you know, like, that's what happens when you're not known. Like Tony Stark, who, you know, makes it known. He's a billionaire, absolute legend. Whereas, you know, Tobey Maguire and Andrew are just struggling, living the life of their normal, you know. Like,
and that's Spider-Man, right?
Exactly.
He should be the everyman.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the whole point is that anyone could be Spider-Man.
Exactly.
And just so happens to be Peter Parker in this case.
Yeah.
Whereas this Spider-Man's felt really lucky to, like, get all this billion-dollar suits.
As Tony Stark just showing up and flirting with Aunt May.
Yeah,
you know?
and existing in this world where, you know, there are other superheroes to interact with.
Yeah, he felt less significant because he's standing next to, like, Thor and, you know, the Guardians of the Galaxy and Doctor Strange, and it's kind of like, he's just this boy. So I do like that they've literally, well, you know, spoilers way back, but, like, it's just a completely new slate.
Yeah.
You know, he's not known. You know, he can
back in the red and blue.
Yeah, dude, that new suit looked amazing. I thought it was just like a Christmas special suit.
Yeah,
because of the, like, you know, the glittery blue.
It was so bright. Yeah. But yeah, it was clearly that he took inspiration from, you know, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield suits, and we're like, let's get back in the red and blue.
Yeah,
which was beautiful.
It was,
and it's just, this does feel like the end of a trilogy and the start of something new. And I think all the Spider-Man fans, I watched all the movies back to back before seeing this one. By the time I got to Spider-Man Homecoming, I was like, this is so refreshing. Because the other 5 movies feel very samey when you watch them back to back. And Spider-Man Homecoming is this breath of fresh air because it's Spider-Man when he's just young, inexperienced. He's not, like, you know, instantly a beast. He's struggling and he's not good at being Spider-Man.
That is true.
And then that felt really refreshing. But then by the time I got to Far From Home, I was starting to miss the more traditional version of the character.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, I don't really want to see him in Europe. You know, I want to see him in New York and fighting for the little guy in New York. And all the stuff they did with Mysterio in that movie is great.
I know, yeah, it's awesome.
Like, that felt proper Spider-Man. But even giving him, like, red and black.
It did feel like just a big cocktail. Like, Marvel... some Spider-Man, you know, like, I mean, the character and, like, you know, he's got his school friends and stuff, but it definitely felt like a Marvel movie. Like, I mean...
Yeah, it didn't feel like a Spider-Man movie, It felt like a Marvel movie.
Especially how the villain was just off of Tony Stark, you know, there was heaps
And I can't believe they did that twice in a row. They did it with Vulture and then Mysterio.
Exactly. We said that in, I think, the last video, or a video 2 ago, that this Spider-Man, Tom Holland's Spider-Man, really doesn't have any villains that are just out to, like, get him.
They're not villainous the same way that a Green Goblin is. Like,
yeah, holy shit. And that was refreshing seeing him in this movie. My goodness, how brutal the fights were in this movie.
Yes, there was a lot of hype in interviews. Tom Holland was saying that a lot of hand-to-hand combat and seeing Willem Dafoe come back.
Yes.
And this movie delivers on that action. Like, the fight scenes between Willem Dafoe... Like, Tom Holland is beating the shit out of Green Goblin, and he's just laughing back at it.
It's hilarious. He's just a maniac. It's just this manic expression on his face that you know I've missed just, like, people that are outrightly evil. They're just fucked up, and I mean, this movie is full of them. Honestly,
and it's great because, like, you know, as the audience, that he's gonna turn bad. Like, Green Goblin's gonna go back to being Green Goblin.
It's just like when.
And the scene where Tom Holland's Spidey sense goes off and he doesn't know what's happening, and he's, like, trying to piece together.
Oh my goodness!
Such a good scene because you know, okay, this is when Green Goblin's gonna snap. What's gonna happen?
I thought that's when I honestly thought, that's when the other Spider-Men were gonna show up. And then it would be a whole kerfuffle. Like, he would have to tell Andrew and Toby, be like, no, we're good. Like, you know, these are your villains. But no, we're trying to cure them. And then, like, they would get mad at each other and then shit would go wrong. But the way they did it, how, like, you know, who was it? Fucking MJ and Ned, they, like, created a portal to fucking Andrew and then to Toby, which was really good, honestly.
That was good for, like, building, like... Because the entire time watching this movie, you are kind of thinking, when are they going to come on screen?
Yeah.
And then that scene where they open the portal, it's like, that's a good... It's similar... It's literally like the portal opening in Endgame as well.
Exactly.
Like, it's the exact same thing. Like, they're just jumping in and then you hit the ground running with this character. The Andrew Garfield's first scene is so funny with the old woman in that. I think that's so funny. God. And Andrew Garfield... We may as well talk about the other Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield, I think, kills it in this movie. Like, he does such an incredibly good job.
Oh my God. Just, like... He was able to create not just being portaled in, but, like, a portal of, like, just back to his movies. You know, just seeing the emotion on his face, like when he's talking about Gwen.
Yeah.
Like, he fucking...
He nailed it.
He nailed it. It was insane. It was so emotional, and you just felt that just through his face.
The brilliant thing is they give this version of Spider-Man a bit of an ending, like a catharsis.
Yes.
In terms of saving MJ.
And
which is such a good moment.
That was amazing. That was honestly amazing. Like, it was literally how she was like... No, he was like... Andrew was like, are you okay? To MJ. And MJ's like, yeah, I'm fine. And you could just see, you know, him literally having PTSD... You know, while holding her, being like, you know, this is how Gwen died when I was, you know, holding her, and her fucking snap, you know, her neck was snapped.
And it's such a simple thing, but they nail it so well.
Amazing.
So I think they did a great job with Andrew Garfield. Yes. However, Tobey Maguire, I don't think they did a good job on. I think he was like just there.
Yeah,
like,
it definitely felt that way. I mean,
he was there for a paycheck.
I was expecting like him to have some fucking talks to like Green Goblin or, you know, Dr. Otto.
He gets a scene with Doc Ock.
But, like, not real, like, not with Green Goblin. And Green Goblin's his fucking, you know, his arch nemesis. And he sees Tom beating him to fucking, you know, shreds. And he's like, all right, I'm going to save him. And then he gets stabbed. I also love how Toby got stabbed. And he was like...
See, when that happened, I was like, oh, they're going to kill him?
Yeah.
And, like, I was kind of excited for that.
Yeah,
like,
okay.
Because that would be like...
Yeah.
That would be huge.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
You're killing, like, this version of the character. But no, he's fine. It was just a stabbing. And it's like, this Spider-Man, it should be so experienced at this point.
Exactly.
And his spider sense... and he knows Green Goblin. He's done this before. Yeah, so, like, that
But then, like, his spider sense probably sensitive. He's like, that's a knife.
You know, I've been stabbed before.
He literally said that. Yeah, like, he's like, you're in a lot of pain. He's like, yeah but he's not showing it. But I wish... we got to saw more like of just him being experienced. It was just them freaking out that he didn't have a fucking.
He didn't have any real development since Spider-Man 3. Like there was nothing new that's really brought. It's just him coming out of retirement. Really, like that's what it feels like. And I don't know. It was strange. It was strange to like. He looked very old as well.
He did.
He looked very old. And I don't think he actually looks that old in real life. I think they...
No, yeah. Like, I mean, I have a picture of him down here. He's got a wonderful beard. He looks like he's in his mid-30s.
Yeah. So I was just surprised. Like, he felt...
He felt like he was 60 years old.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the dialogue and all that stuff. They seem to just struggle a bit.
Well, and Spider-Man is always traditionally seen as this youthful character.
Yeah.
And even though Andrew Garfield's older, he still had that.
Yeah, oh my God.
Whereas Tobey Maguire didn't at all. He felt old. And it kind of put me off a bit. Like, I wasn't ready for that.
Yeah.
Especially after watching all the movies back to back.
If you remember my dog, guys, he's still here.
He's stealing the show now.
He's still alive. I haven't killed him yet.
No. He hasn't seen Spider-Man, though, so no spoilers.
Yeah, shit. Right.
Anyway.
Gotta watch out for him. But
let's talk about the main Spider-Man of this movie, Tom Holland. I think he gives the best performance of his career in this movie.
Yes, I agree.
He gets put through the ringer. Green Goblin kills his Aunt May. And
which I didn't expect. Holy shit. Like, when that happened, I was like, well, I saw the... Like, I knew, you know, she was fucked, but I was actually really surprised with how they did it. Like, that, you know, she
had,
she just put it off.
She had, like, it's like Walking Dead syndrome, I think it's called, where you yourself don't know you're going to die.
Yeah.
And you're thinking you're fine. And that's what happened.
And I feel like that was probably the most realistic death scene I've ever seen. Honestly, in a movie where, like, there's hundreds of movies where, like, the character themselves would, like, touch their chest and then see blood. And they're like, oh, I'm fucked, but wouldn't tell anybody else. But this is more of like she didn't know herself. Because, like, no one's ever been fucking, like...
It's like the adrenaline running through your body as well.
Exactly.
Like...
Oh, you'd be in so much shock. And, like, I mean, just having someone there like Tom, or in this case, you know, Peter, to her was, like, you know, great. And, like, she like, thought straight away, oh, no, Peter's the one that's fucked. Peter's the one that's, you know... hurt. I'm fine.
Her like motherly instinct came in.
That like was so well done. The performance was amazing.
What did you think of the "with great power comes great responsibility" line?
Great, honestly. Well, like, because I did remember like, oh, we didn't hear much of
this.
Uncle, but...
Yeah, I do want to bring up this.
Yes,
Uncle Ben in this movie is a bit weird. Like the way they
happy. Are you talking
No,
about?
No. I'm saying like Uncle Ben, like the idea of Uncle Ben.
Yeah, that's true.
In the MCU is very confusing now.
Yeah.
Was Uncle Ben just someone who died for nothing and just died? Was that it? Because Toby and Andrew are bringing up that that line was said to them by their Uncle Bens who died, and that's why they are Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And Tom Holland really doesn't seem to react to anything mentioned on Uncle Ben. It seems to be all about Aunt May to him.
Yeah.
And the fact that Aunt May says that iconic line instead, it just makes it confusing because, traditionally, it's always that Uncle Ben role. And
I mean, they have changed it over, obviously. Yeah. And there has been that question of like, we just didn't see that Uncle Ben part. But I'm glad, again, how Aunt May has had this, thing dropped on her. Or the fucking goblin.
Yeah, bomb.
What is it?
The bomb or the glider?
No, it was the glider. The glider literally like sliced her in half. I honestly thought when that happened that she was in 2 pieces. And I was like, this is brutal as fuck. But no, I'm glad that happened in the movie because for a movie where you expect so much and you've heard about so much.
They deliver emotional stakes.
Exactly. So I'm glad
and for Tom Holland's story, it doesn't end there. Mm-hmm. Like he then essentially goes on like a revenge mission.
Yes.
And you feel it. He's fucking angry.
Yeah, he is very angry. Like when he was like, I just want to kill him.
Yeah.
And then Toby was like, yeah, I hunted down the killer, and it didn't bring me any peace. Like, I love that they
shared their stories.
And like, I mean, Tom, would have never expected people that have literally
done this,
fucking just gone through what he's about, like what he's going through right now.
I mean, Toby says it at the end of the movie. He's like, this is what we do, right?
That's true.
He's never going to experience people who are like literally identical to him the same way. So it's great at delivering that. I will say, in the same kind of scene when they're on top of Peter's school talking about the stuff that's happened.
Yeah.
Andrew brings up that he's after Gwen's death, he stopped like pulling his punches and potentially became angry like the way Tom Holland does and whatever else. But now seeing him in this movie, he doesn't play Spider-Man that way. He's very fun and happy.
He is.
And
feels
he's
like
sad.
He's a lifeline.
He's sad towards what happened to Gwen, but he's not like angry and wanting to take it out on anyone.
Yeah, that is true.
So that was my one kind of criticism with Andrew Garfield.
Yeah, that is true. And I mean, he did. Thank you. He did say, like that Gwen line fucking hurt, but like he did. Yeah, he did feel like Spider-Man to him was like a lifeline. Yeah, essentially, like, hey. I still have a city to protect. Like, I can't just be off for a day or whatever.
It's very similar to the ending of this movie, where then Tom Holland goes out and he's like, "I've lost everything, but I'm Spider-Man, I'm gonna be Spider-Man."
It was also the funny part how Toby was like, "You're amazing."
Yeah,
you're amazing, bro. Like,
as a joke,
you're amazing, and I was like, they could have done something, a little bit better.
See,
just fucking,
that's something interesting is the dialogue is like, sometimes they nail it, but other times it's so memey.
It is like very meme. Like again, when fucking
the scientist
said, I'm something of
a scientist myself.
They're just doing that too.
And then the pointing meme.
Yeah.
Tobey Maguire's back.
Yeah.
Like, even like the webbing, like it was all stuff that
is true.
That it was cool.
When I would have rathered like just more Tobey Maguire being like, oh, like, I'm the eldest here. He's probably the best Spider-Man.
That's the thing that interests me, right? So at the end of the movie, they're struggling to work as a team because they've never had to. Yeah. Now, I think they utilized Tom Holland's Spider-Man well there because he has worked in the team.
Exactly.
So, and of course, this is his movie,
which was great, which was very good.
But it makes it like, we all knew that like Andrew Garfield would be in the background, but we kind of assumed that Toby would be fucking more in the center.
He'd be like, I was honestly well, I mean, it was weird because Dr. Otto was like friendly, so he didn't have to verse him.
Yeah.
But I was waiting for Toby to like be like, okay, I've defeated you, Green Goblin, before. I'm going to destroy you now because like, See,
the thing is, that's interesting about this movie is they're making Green Goblin Tom's villain.
Yeah, they are.
And that means that Toby can't really have much interaction with him.
Exactly.
Because otherwise it's going to take away from what they're trying to make this Tom Holland's version of Spider-Man and Green Goblin. They're supposed to be hero and villain in this movie, and that's kind of weird when he's already faced another Spider-Man that we've already seen, and that's like it's just the way they need to utilize the characters means that Toby kind of gets sidelined in terms of how he deals with his villains. Yeah, he does get he gets barely any send off with like Sandman, which is fine. Sandman and Lizard are just sidelined, which is fine.
Yeah. I mean, I did like how Sandman initially was like fighting against Electro.
Yeah, and they felt good about remembering what had come before, and it was like,
that's true. Yeah,
this version of Sandman is reformed at this point. Yeah, so he's helping Spider-Man at the start of the movie.
Exactly, which I liked that they were all just confused as fuck. Like, what is going on? You're not my Spider-Man, but like, you'll probably help me. And that's also, I did love the first initial, like, I love Dr. Otto through the entirety of this film.
Yeah, he was great.
He was fucking amazing.
Alfred Molina nails the assignment.
Oh, awesome. And I loved how, like, he's turned good. Like, it just, once he's cured, like, you kind of started understanding Peter's plan. Because at the start, like, when he stole the fucking cube of Doctor Strange, I was like, what are you doing?
So Spider-Man in this movie is like innately good. That is like his thing.
Yes.
And he knows that these villains are going to be sent to their deaths.
Yes.
And that's why they are the ones that have no way home. Yeah. And he doesn't want to do that. He wants to reform them. Yeah. Now, I didn't like that it kind of just boiled down to, if we remove their powers, then suddenly they're good again. I didn't like that. I thought...
I mean, it worked with Dr. Otto because he was like fucking...
Because the chip, right? But like, for example, with Electro, his whole thing is that he wants to have power, right? And he doesn't want to go back to being a loser. Mm-hmm. So then you shouldn't just be taking away his power and being like, you're done with it. There needs to be more... Well, no. There needs to be more of trying to reform him and make better use of your power or something like that.
Yeah, he just got like one line from Andrew being like, bro, you're cool.
I did like, though, that they had this interaction, Andrew Garfield and Jamie Foxx. They had this interaction, and Jamie Foxx brings up Miles Morales. He's like, I thought he would have been black. And
yes,
like,
oh my God.
Great.
Yeah, that was little awesome. Easter egg. Holy hell. When he said that, I was like, you haven't watched Spider-Verse, bro. You just need to watch that movie, and then you'd be like, there is a universe where there's a black
fucking
goated.
They're definitely going to do that next.
Oh my God.
100%.
Holy shit. Coming. Who's the voice actor for Miles Morales?
I've got no clue.
But hopefully he looks like him in the animation. Because I do like when there's that kind of continuity.
That's synergy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Because that voice actor was great, honestly. He was just like a kid. And he was young as well. He's like a bit Tom Holland's age in the Spider-Verse, I guess. Not Spider-Verse, sorry.
Into the Spider-Verse. Into the...
There's too many verses.
There's so many verses. This is the multiverse now. Yeah. I do want to bring up a bit of an issue with the plot.
Okay, here we go.
So, Doctor Strange's spell, right? It is supposed to wipe everyone's memories, and Tom Holland fucks it up. Yeah. And then in doing so, it's bringing people who know his secret identity from other multiverses. Yeah. Right? Instead of erasing everyone's memory of his identity, they're bringing in all the characters that know his identity. Yeah. However, Electro never found out that Peter was Spider-Man, because that happens in the end of this movie. And not only that, but also, if you've seen the end credit scene of either Venom or this movie, Venom's in this movie. Very similar situation.
That is true.
There is no Spider-Man there. So the spell doesn't logistically make a lot of sense. And then why would it also bring people who are Spider-Man? Now, it doesn't matter. Because when you're watching the movie...
It's amazing.
You forget about it, and it's like, yeah, sure, this is enough. This is any good enough reason to have a multiverse.
No one really understands.
It's just magic, right? So it was just like the actual story itself doesn't make a lot of sense, but once it gets going, and it's like the whole plot around
this movie
curing these villains,
like there was no downtime whatsoever. Yeah. This whole movie, like the 2 hours and 30 minutes, it was amazing. Yeah. Like, the whole way through, there was no points where I was like sitting there like, oh, this is boring. Yeah. I fucking...
It goes, from the get-go, it goes 100 miles an hour. And the start is amazing because it picks up, like, the starting shot is the end of Far From Home.
Yeah.
And you see, like, this is the first time Spider-Man's had his identity revealed, and it fucking sucks to be him.
It does, yeah. You got a glimpse into the life of, like, you know, just how good it was to just, you know, hide his identity. And then that's even, you know, reassured when you meet, you know, Andrew and Toby for the first time. And like, you know, that's the whole point of this costume is like, you know, our identity is safe.
Yeah.
So
and you see it affect those around Peter too.
Exactly.
They're all struggling to get into college because of their affiliation with Spider-Man.
Exactly. Well, it was kind of funny how he just needed to talk to the lady. Like, but Doctor Strange that even was like...
so, like, that is so true in a way. It's like...
It is.
You know, like, people just accept an outcome without necessarily, you know, going through the necessary...
Essentially fake news. They reacted to fake news. Like, the lady that Tom Holland saved in the movie, I can't remember her name, but she's from Barry, if you've watched that.
Yes, yeah.
She, like... is saved by him, and instantly she's like, "Oh my god,
you're a good guy.
You're amazing. I'm getting you into RMIT, not RMIT, MIT,
MIT
in not Boston. Where is it? Chicago?
I have no clue. It's in America.
It's in America, and it's really famous. And the smart people go there.
A lot of smart people. Tony Stark
didn't.
I don't know if he went there, but at the start of Civil War, that's where he's given the lecture and then gives all the money to the students or whatever.
I don't remember that.
Anyway. Yes. But yes, so the whole reason that Tom Holland does this is because he wants to get into college with his friends.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
That's fine.
It's a great enough reason.
Yeah. So he's like, Doctor Strange, fuck some shit up.
Yeah.
I want to get to college. And then Doctor Strange's like, you haven't even talked to the woman? Essentially. Yeah. But I love that he knows that as well. That he's like...
Because, like... He's arrogant and egotistical and all of that. And
he was great, honestly. Yeah. He was so good.
And everyone was saying that Doctor Strange was going to be evil in this movie.
You were an idiot.
He's just a cunt. Can we just accept that? Like, that's his character.
Yeah. And I love it, honestly. Yeah. But I do not love how the end credit scene was a trailer.
That was very strange.
Terrible.
Well, let's...
It was strange. Yeah,
it was. It was very strange. We may as well get into the end credit scenes. Yeah. The first one, I find just so fucking stupid.
Yeah, it was
so stupid. So, essentially, this is what happened. Yeah. I'm Sony, you're Marvel. I go, can Venom be in the MCU?
And we're like, oh, yeah.
How about he's in there for, like, a week?
He's in there for, like... He's in Mexico. He goes to Mexico.
No interaction with any character.
We can do. Yeah, that's the best. He has interaction with a barman in Mexico in the MCU.
Yeah,
that's it.
Who's in Ted Lasso? If you've seen Ted Lasso, I don't know if you've seen that. It's a great.
But no. When I saw, because I realized, because I was remembering how everyone disappeared.
Yeah,
and then I was like, wait a second, but in Venom and Carnage or whatever the fuck that movie was, he gets transported. But then he's just essentially going to get transported back, and I haven't seen,
nothing
seen
happened.
him. Yeah, nothing happened with him.
I just thought that was so funny because it's such a F you to Sony. Like, no, Venom's not being in this fucking universe, right?
We hate him. He's fucking terrible.
But the whole point is, and I think the real crux of it is that they want Tom Holland to get the black symbiote suit, but
they want him to dance on the street like Toby did.
Of course, right? But Marvel just doesn't want Venom.
No, they don't.
So is there going to be another version of Venom in this universe? Or
probably. I think that's what it was alluding to.
Yeah.
I'm glad they got rid of Tom Hardy. Like, you're great, but...
Look, just keep them separate. Like, they are their own thing. They are what they are.
I hope you don't get another movie. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, and at this point, like, the whole thing was, like, we assumed Tom Hardy and Tom Holland were going to interact, and that would be Venom 3, because what else is there in Venom? No one gives a shit about Venom.
That is true.
Right? But yeah, who knows at this point?
I'm going to go close my door just a second. We didn't talk much about the news, though.
Yeah, there wasn't really any news. Because all the news is just Spider-Man at the moment.
Cut. That's a cut. Anyway.
Second after credit scene was literally...
A trailer.
A trailer.
Yeah.
Like... And it wasn't even a really good trailer at that.
It was terrible. Like, I was expecting, literally a straight cut to
some scene around Doctor. Like, of course, there's going to be Doctor Strange. That's the next movie coming out.
Yeah,
it was going to be that, but it's literally like a shitty trailer.
It is. Like, you know, I had all the bass drops and everything. Like, you know how in trailers they have just the how the you're like
like the Inception kind of music.
There's something serious happening on screen. Like, what the fuck?
Something strange.
There was 15 of them. I counted them. There was like, you know, you'd feel it through the fucking scene.
It was like, it went to black a lot, you know? Like, the black cuts were like a second each. It was like, it kept going to black.
All trailers are honestly the same these days, for fuck's sake.
And it didn't, the only thing that it gave us was that we're going to see the evil Doctor Strange, presumably from What If, right?
Oh, that would be amazing.
Like, that kind of version of Doctor Strange, at least.
Well, then, because normal Doctor Strange is fucked.
Yeah.
But then we see also Wanda is in this.
But the thing, and we see what, but like, that's kind of stuff that we all, you know, we kind of expect for the most part. Yeah. Now, you know, marketing Spider-Man No Way Home was a difficult task, and behind the scenes, there were, you know, Sony wanted to reveal Tobey and Andrew. Marvel didn't even want to reveal the villains. They wanted to market this movie as Doctor Strange versus Spider-Man. So that's that no one
fucking
knew.
Genius. But I mean, yeah, like Marvel is kind of like that. They're kind of like
Avengers Endgame's marketing was great. Amazing. Like, you knew nothing.
Exactly, and I like that's what you love as a proper fan. That's what you really want, honestly, and that's what Marvel is for. They're for the proper fans because we want to watch this movie anyway.
Yeah. We want to be surprised when it comes out.
But Sony's like, no, we want money. We want money. If we know, because they're paying these people fucking a lot of money, honestly. Fair enough.
Dude, I don't know how much money Tobey Maguire would have got, but it would have been a fuck ton. So much money.
You reckon?
Yes, because there were reports that they were struggling to get him.
Really?
Because he was saying no. He was like, I need more money. No.
What?
No.
He
didn't want to do it.
Why? Do you reckon, have they asked him whether, like, do you like how Spider-Man has turned out? Like, you know, and what you've done.
Look, I think he was upset that Spider-Man 4 didn't happen.
Oh.
And he hasn't done anything worthwhile since then. He's done Boss Baby. He's in Boss Baby. I think that's the peak of his career,
How the fuck do you drop that low? Holy shit. And he's expecting more money. Like he can barter for fuck's sake.
And he's a notorious big gambler.
Is he?
Like, I don't know if you've seen the movie Molly's Game, but it's about the secret gambling ring.
And apparently, oh my god.
Yeah,
Holy
so he's a massive
wait,
gambler.
Doesn't
Michael Cera play him? Yeah.
That's fucking, oh my god.
So, see, that's the thing, is Tobey Maguire, behind the scenes, is known as a cunt, right? Andrew Garfield's known as a sweetheart.
I want to meet this man.
Yeah.
Honestly, he, like, he's just amazing. And I'm so glad that, like, just everything he did in this film was just, like, so wonderful.
Yes.
So wonderful. That's my heart. But yeah. No.
Yeah, going forward with the multiverse, it's, I don't know if they can necessarily top this.
Yeah, I don't.
Like
what other character?
Essentially, it's going to be the X-Men.
Oh my god. Yes.
Like Hugh Jackman, probably
Hugh Jackman,
James McAvoy, or who's the other one? The other bald guy.
Fuck.
Sir.
He's like from Star Trek. He's a sir.
Sir.
You know who he is. You know who he is. He's from Star Trek. He's fucking. He does the peace sign with his hands. I can't do it.
Yeah,
but like that would be amazing.
Yes. Honestly. So that's what the thing, and like probably like the Fantastic Four, maybe. Maybe you get the Spider-Man back. Other than that, it's maybe they were talking about getting recasted characters. So seeing other versions of maybe Iron Man or I don't know.
I would love to see a poor Iron Man. I'd see what he achieves. You know,
fuck all. He's just wearing a garbage bag.
He wouldn't be iron.
He's just on LSD, and then
he wouldn't be iron.
Yeah.
He would be.
He'd be Iron Man because he has an iron deficiency. Yeah.
Oh my god. So what? Okay, what would it? There would be an Iron Man.
Yeah.
There would be poor. What would Captain America be? Just a
skinny bitch.
A skinny bitch. All right, and who's not American? Who's
from
Thailand or something?
Captain Thailand. He's a Thai kickboxer.
Yeah, well, that'd fucking go well. Honestly, they will destroy most people.
But yeah, so I don't know. They got to get creative.
Yeah,
right? Like, the reason this movie works so well is the fact that it's playing into this nostalgia, seeing all the characters you know and love, seeing them interact in a way you never thought they would.
Exactly.
But they can't really necessarily do that twice. Like, they can to an extent, but they've got to do something fresh and new in Doctor Strange to make it worthwhile. And then, after that, you've got the Flash movie, which is, like, also doing the multiverse, but then it's like, hard act to follow. You got Michael Keaton, is that enough?
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
No, we'll see. We'll review it. We'll tell you. We'll spoil it for you in the first
5 minutes. That's always the goal.
It was 2 minutes. I swear it was 2. Someone we'll do a thing in the thing, and we'll show you how quickly
we spoil the movie.
We'll do a TikTok. We'll do a TikTok essentially.
Okay, how about let's do the non-spoiler review now?
Yeah. Okay. That's beautiful. Yeah. Okay. If you like Spider-Man,
it's a very Spider-Man movie.
Yeah. There are you
almost just ruined
it. You see a lot of Spider-Mans.
Oh no. It's so hard to avoid talking about that. Because it really makes the movie. Like, at the end of the day, seeing Tom interact with these villains is cool. Yeah. I think when I was watching the bridge fight, I was kind of like, I need to see more than this, because, like, I saw this in the trailer.
It was short, yeah.
And
I was expecting more from Green Goblin, but no, he just got teleported out of there. And I was like,
yeah, but I think that was just to give a bit of a tease, because it's like, you know, he's not ready to interact yet.
True. Even though he was in his full fucking form, like with the mask and everything.
I did appreciate, though, that, you know, Green Goblin has a bit of a new look, and you get a bit of that purple.
Smack the fucking mask.
Yeah.
Which, that mask looks great.
The other thing was, they never explained why Jamie Foxx's character looks different now.
Yeah,
They just threw it away.
Yeah, he even said in the movie, he's like, I'm not a nerd anymore. I look
How do you like the new?
I look like me in real life. I look like Jamie Foxx.
Hey guys, I'm Jamie Foxx.
Yeah.
It's like, that is something I noticed.
Yeah.
Was that sometimes the writing felt like celebrity appearances in, like, a sketch, as opposed to, like, truly what the characters are. Yeah. Alfred Molina and Willem Dafoe, they're perfect. But Jamie Foxx is really just playing Jamie Foxx.
He is.
And I guess, like, you could almost say the same about Tobey Maguire. He's just playing Tobey Maguire. Like, he's not 100%, like, true to the character he was playing all that time ago, I don't think.
Yeah, he was like, Uncle Ben died. He told me this.
It was just strange. It just, that was just the one aspect.
Spider-Man.
Of course, it was amazing to see him return.
It was.
It's just
it was like, I was put off by just the way he looked. I mean, obviously he's aged a lot, but, like, again, they got to drive it home with the script and be like, okay, fucking, you know, similar to how they did in the what was the animated film?
Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, Into the Spider-Verse.
That's the same thing. It's an older Spider-Man.
Exactly. It was an older Spider-Man. He's fat, but, like, you know, he was perfect when, you know, Miles was like, oh fuck, I don't know what to do. We have to get the USB, and he's like, oh, like, it's you know, he's been through it fucking 100 times, and it, you know, it showed. He told you that. Whereas Toby was like, I'm Spider-Man.
He literally was just like there to be me. Like Mimi.
Yeah, like exactly. He was like, he's in the film, there he is. That's it.
I will say as well, I think the fight scene at the end, I think the action using all three Spider-Man isn't as good as I wanted it to be.
That's true.
There's no, like, there's the shot where they're, like, swinging off each other and they are in the moonlight and then they land.
Yeah, it wasn't honestly that good.
But other than that, like, there was no, like...
The best fight was between Doctor Strange and
Oh, that was the best fight in the movie. Doctor Strange and Spider-Man. Because Spider-Man, like, Doctor Strange is using his mysticism.
Yeah.
Spider-Man's using his big old brain. He's a smart kid.
Exactly. He was a geometry motherfucker.
Geometry, yeah.
You know, and then how he pushed him out of his body, but his spider sense was still in his body.
That was so smart.
That was hilarious. Hilarious and smart.
When he thwips himself and, you know, catches himself in between the portals. Yeah. It's like, that's sick.
Yeah, like, that whole fight scene was amazing.
And see, that is what Marvel is always good at, is like, in this case, the fight, but also like the team ups between two characters.
Exactly.
Like when, you know, Thor does his lightning into Iron Man and then Iron Man shoots, you know, a stronger blast or whatever.
Exactly.
Those interactions are what make these Marvel movies so good, because they feel like a team.
Because you're like, whoa,
yeah,
you just did that.
It's sick.
Whereas,
and then In this, they don't. I mean, yes, they all have the same power
for like
set.
2 minutes because you're like, there are 3 Spider-Man on screen and they're fucking swinging the same, but then they just kick.
They don't play off each other very well. Like they don't do anything.
Yeah, they don't.
There's no
jump off each other
moves or
like web each other or like. They just pass the devices around to
each other.
Like, that's bad. It's literally just a big game of, like, football. They're like, pass.
That is literally it.
Yeah.
And speaking of the curing, right, so...
Oh, yes.
So you might have noticed
they all got the COVID vaccine.
They got... Yeah. Sorry, you anti-vaxxers.
Yeah.
You can't see Spider-Man anymore.
You can't fucking see it.
But Green Goblin is notoriously an anti-vaxxer.
Yeah, I mean, that's why he's crazy and fucked up, isn't he?
He's like, you thought this would work on me?
You idiot!
The curing, right? Curing. So, you might have noticed throughout this movie that the Lizard and Sandman seem a bit strange. Firstly, Sandman is just in his sand form the entire time.
Yeah.
Secondly, the Lizard's also in his lizard form, but he also sounds a bit different. Yeah. That doesn't quite sound right. And that's because they didn't get back the actors. So, it's Thomas Hayden Church for Sandman and Rhys Ifans for the Lizard.
Yeah. So,
they probably still got paid for the movie and they might have done some voiceover work. But they're not in the movie, they're just covered by CGI, likely because of COVID, because this was filmed during COVID. So, it was impressive that they still got Willem Dafoe, Alfred Molina, Andrew Garfield, and Tobey Maguire.
Honestly, like, the important
the essentials, and Jamie Foxx.
Yeah,
they got the essentials, and then they were able to work around the fact that they couldn't get others.
Yeah.
So, that's why Sandman's in his sand form the entire time.
Yeah.
And the Lizard's in his lizard form. But at the end of the movie, when they turn into humans, they have reused footage from Spider-Man 3 and The Amazing Spider-Man 1, respectively.
Wow. Holy shit.
So, I don't know if you noticed, but the Snyder Cut did the exact same thing. Oh. There's a scene in the Snyder Cut where Zack Snyder's Justice League, where Clark is in the Batcave and Lois is burnt to a crisp and Darkseid walks.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that's right.
That shot of Henry Cavill is from Man of Steel because that was a reshoot, but they couldn't reshoot, so then they just had to reuse old footage.
Wow.
Same thing happened here. They couldn't get the actors, so they reused old footage and did like the CGI around it. Yeah. But they're literally identical shots.
I mean, I didn't notice anything. Honestly, anything. I mean, like, because we have seen, this reshaping, refacing, like with, Paul Walker, obviously. And
they're getting creative with it.
They are very creative. And I mean, that's what you want because these people are paid mountains of money. Well, maybe not the people that, like, edit it. I'm not too sure. Yeah. I mean, they deserve... This was also done in Melbourne. I didn't realise that.
Yeah,
Film
partly.
Victoria. Yeah. Partly. Good on you.
A lot of movies. Because Australia opened up first. So, they could film a lot of movies here, but then we went to shit as well.
That's true. Because we're fucking losers.
But yeah, given this film was, like... The thing I would say is that my ultimate review of this movie is that it needed a little bit more time in the oven.
That's true.
To iron out some of those jokes that kind of feel a bit too memey.
Yeah.
Like, do just a bit of a rewrite on the script.
I'm something of a scientist, man. Yeah. Like, he would never fucking say that.
Exactly. Because that line meant nothing to him at the time. It's just taken on another meaning because of the meme.
Exactly.
But yeah. And, like, a bit more time in the oven for some of the action sequences. Again... The fights between Green Goblin and Spider-Man are great. Like, see, they're throwing each other through floors in an apartment block.
So, is this just me because I haven't seen the films in ages, but I don't remember Green Goblin being fucking really strong.
Yeah, he is.
He is?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that because of the serum?
Yeah.
I see. Okay, that's good. It was kind of like, I remember someone, like, being, like, surprised about how strong Thanos was when they first saw him, and I was like...
But
he's a fucking guy.
Dr. Octopus, though, is just a man.
Yes.
So that was an issue in Spider-Man 2 and in this, where it's like Spider-Man could very easily punch him in the face and he'd be dead.
Yeah.
Right? Now, of course, we know, they mention it in this movie, Spider-Man pulls his punches, but it's like, maybe go a little bit harder if you want to take him out quicker. I don't know.
Well, yeah, he didn't, like, I mean
it's a nitpick. It's a nitpick.
It is a nitpick, but that makes sense. I feel, well, like, it did make sense in the latter movies because, like, that he was being controlled. So I feel like, he'd get punched and like go through shit. But that's
maybe
why he
he'd
was
feel
miserable.
pain,
Yeah, exactly. Because they would, fuck his pain receptors. So his body would be fucked. Because sorry, I slapped his knee.
Oh.
See, his knee would be slapped.
I don't have.
But the robots would stop the electrons from going from his knee to his brain.
That's very scientific. Are you something of a scientist yourself?
No, I'm something of a fuckwit myself. But yeah, no, they'd probably fuck his pain receptors. So that's why he was miserable all the time. I don't know. That's maybe what happened. I'm not sure. Yeah. But yeah, and I'm trying to think of anything else in this film that I enjoyed.
I'd add that I didn't enjoy. Unfortunately, Ned. I didn't like Ned.
Egghead Ned.
Egghead Ned. Looks like a fat version of The Rock.
But we love him. Honestly,
we love him.
Like,
I look, in previous movies, he's fun. He's fun to be around in the movie. And
he's a great best friend, too.
In this movie, him having the magic portal thing.
Yeah.
And just being able to do it. I get they just, I get they needed something to do. They needed it. Yeah. But, like, I much preferred when he's like, they make a joke about it, but the guy in the chair. I think that is a better role for him. I think when he's taped the iPhone to his chest, like when Tom Holland's taped the iPhone to his chest and he's got them on a FaceTime, I think that's a good way of utilizing those characters.
Exactly.
But doing the portal thing, I just didn't like.
Because that's what they're there for. Like, he's like essentially just a brains or the other, another perspective that you need, or someone just to be in your ear and be like, he's over there. Oh, he's over there. He's like, oh, like work out his powers or some shit. Like, there's always that character. There's always, the guy with the powers who knows how to punch, and then there's someone behind the scenes that is like actively thinking and being like, all right, where's this person's weak spot? Something like that. Like, that's what he's best at. And yeah, let's talk about MJ as well. How do you think they're? I honestly really like the comment from Happy, how he was like, your relationships progressed as much. You don't need to talk to her anymore. I need to get to sleep. That was kind of hilarious.
Like nothing. You're not saying anything new on this conversation.
Exactly. Like he said that, and I was like,
because that's like what it is to love someone at that age, and when you're so young, it's like you don't know shit about shit, and you're just in love.
You like shit.
It's young love.
I'm Spider-Man.
And I love the thing that I love about this Gwen Stacy and this version of MJ is that at this age, it's unlikely that relationships work out.
That's true.
We've all been there.
And it sucks ass.
And in the case of Gwen Stacy, it was like, well, she was going to go to Oxford, but then she died. And in the case of MJ, it's now they don't remember each other.
Yeah.
So I like how these relationships don't work out.
Yeah.
And it's for very superhero reasons in these movies, but you're dealing with big superheroes. So of course it should be higher stakes than just, whatever,
I like
a normal
that.
relationship.
I like how that's being normalized that, oh yes, they're superheroes. They don't get they don't get what they want all the time. And I mean, like, I feel like back in the day it was like, they get the broad at the end of the day because they're the superhero. They can fucking like, punch a wall or some shit.
Yeah.
They get the blonde woman and stuff like that.
And like, they are the crux of this movie. Like, they're the emotional heart of this movie.
Oh my goodness, they do well.
And
with that.
even from the start, like the fact that his identity's been revealed, like the way they're handling that, like they do such a good job with that. And then the ending, right? Spider-Man makes the decision without MJ's approval to have everyone forget that he's Spider-Man.
Yes, but that was the whole lesson, I feel like. So, and that's why I really, really liked Aunt May's death. It was fucking terrible, but it was directly his fault. Yeah. You know what I mean? He had the opportunity, he had the decision to get rid of all the shit before, it spiraled out of control, and it fucking did, and Aunt May paid for it, and all he has to blame is himself. I like that. Yeah. It's a learning experience for him,
And then he has to make an even bigger choice.
Exactly.
And lose everyone he loves.
But he knows it's for, like, the greater good, and that's his responsibility, and that's what the film teaches you.
And nails that.
It nails it fucking
with great
really
power comes great responsibility. Yeah. The film actually nails it, and for once in this kind of version of Spider-Man, really proves that
it does.
That not everything goes right for him. That he's doing this out of the goodness of his heart.
Exactly. I just, again, I really love that he just wanted to actually help the bad guys, and it did make sense because he hadn't seen what these fucking fucked up.
He didn't know, and that's why it made sense that he would help Norman Osborn, because to him, it's just a man in need of help.
Oh my god, yeah.
Not
that was
one of the Spider-Man's worst villains ever.
I loved how that was revealed, because he is cunning. He's a cunning person, and he realizes, oh, this Spider-Man doesn't know me. I'm going to take advantage of that, and that's amazing. Like, writing 10 out of 10. Nice. And then the Spider-Men were revealed later. Perfect.
Yeah.
Easy. Yeah. Again, I just wish we just got more time with the Spider-Man, honestly. I feel like...
I think I would say they came in too late.
Yeah.
I think they came in too late.
Yeah. Like, what the fuck are they doing? They're Spider-Men. Like, they're mobility people. They literally can just fucking get across the city.
Because the whole thing is, what are they doing? Like, they're seasoned superheroes.
I've been looking around, dressed as... Andrew Garfield's dressed as fucking Spider-Man.
Yeah.
You know? And...
Well, Tobey Maguire's got it under his normal clothes.
Exactly.
Right? So, like, they could have been Spider-Man shit.
Exactly. And then people would be like, oh, there's Spider-Man. And they'd be like, no, he's... Because... Tom Holland was under so much surveillance.
Yeah.
As Spider-Man. Wouldn't they see another Spider-Man and be like, hang on, this cunt's also swinging around. Let's get a camera on him. Because that's Tom Holland, right? So, yeah. That's the only real nitpick, I guess, of this whole movie.
Well, I think that's the issue, is the plot. Is sometimes when it's doing the straightforward superhero stuff of him trying to kill the villains, that's simple and easy to follow. But it's just the broader, it's such a complicated, convoluted mess of the multiverse. And they, Into the Spider-Verse, maybe did a better job of, making it clear and having a good direction and easy to follow.
That film is just a masterpiece.
Whereas this film is, I would say, from when it gets going, and you're in and you're watching it, and it's a roller coaster ride.
That is very true.
But it is a bit of a messy roller coaster ride.
That is true. It is, again, it is kind of fluid, but yeah, you don't know where the fuck it's going at some points. You're like, what is this? What is this? I did want to say one thing. I really was expecting a Tobey Maguire and J.K. Simmons interaction.
Or even Tom Holland and J.K. Simmons.
That's true. That is true. Now
that J.K. Simmons has been brought into this world, and it's not from the multiverse, that's just a variant, right? There's just another version of J. Jonah Jameson that is played by J.K. Simmons.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have many interactions with Spider-Man directly. I mean, Tom Holland is on the side of a building and looks down, and they have a look at each other. But that's about it.
Yeah.
And when you're bringing back J.K. Simmons and giving him a larger role in the last movie...
That's why I was expecting it, because J.K. Simmons is fucking huge. He's...
I did like what they did with the character, though.
Yeah, they did.
They modernized it in a really smart way. He's the Alex Jones type instead
Exactly.
Because that's kind of, the equivalent of misinformation, back in the day of being like an unreliable news print paper is now... Exactly. That kind of more streaming.
You saw him, he started off with a green screen and just like himself, and then he fucking went to a huge studio because everyone was like, this guy's telling the truth. Yeah. And, I like that. But again, I was expecting more for this character, honestly. I was expecting, him to interact with Toby, be like, oh, you're a bit different in my world, but that didn't happen.
No. Or something from Toby's perspective.
Exactly.
Because he would have recognised that, wow, some things don't change. J. Jonah Jameson's the same everywhere.
And then J.K. Simmons would have been like, what? And just gone fucking insane or something. That would have been nice.
Now, there is one final cameo in this movie. Now, I don't know if you...
What?
There's one more. You probably forgot about it. It's at the start of the movie. Daredevil.
Oh, yes. And he catches the brick. And you're like... So, I knew it straight away because of the glasses.
Well, the glasses. But did you watch the Netflix TV show?
No, I didn't.
See, you're missing out.
I know, what his powers are. He's blind, but he's also a fucking legend.
Yes. So they bring him back in this movie, played by the same actor as played in the Netflix TV show, which is a fantastic TV show.
Okay.
It's one of the best things Marvel's ever done.
Wow.
It's like The Dark Knight as a TV show.
Wowee.
It's really good.
Missing the fuck
It's
out.
really good. And it's not necessarily connected to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They knew it was so good that they brought the actors back.
That's good.
And the person who plays Kingpin in the Daredevil TV show is playing Kingpin in the Hawkeye TV show.
Oh.
So they're bringing back both Daredevil and Kingpin.
Oh, that's
and Kingpin
exciting.
also fights Spider-Man, so there's a potential Daredevil Spider-Man Kingpin crossover.
I would like that. I would honestly like that. For Spider-Man to lawyer up again. But yeah, I mean, they don't know each other now.
It was a great scene as well.
It was really good, and I did like that. He was involved a little bit.
Yeah, it made sense because you need a lawyer who's a famous lawyer in Marvel Universe. Daredevil.
Yeah.
Boom, Bob's your uncle.
Bob is your uncle.
Yeah. Well, in this case, it's Uncle Ben, but
yeah, Ben is your dead uncle.
Oh. And on that terrible disappointment,
it's time to end. Well, no, we need to do Budget Brothers.
Budget Brothers.
Yeah, Budget Brother. This film's budget was $200 million.
How much has it made so far?
It has made 253, I think.
So that's just in the US. I think you double it because of the rest of the world.
I'm just gonna have a look at that. Spider-Man No Way Home box office. Why is it called box office?
Because you buy it, like they sit in a box.
Oh, I see. Okay. Here we are. Shutter's box office records. There's Spider-Man. So ranked in 253 million in North America and another 334.2 million from overseas. 587.2 million worldwide, the third biggest global debut of all time, trailing only the two most recent Avengers.
So Endgame number 1, Infinity War number 2, Spider-Man No Way Home.
That's brilliant.
Marvel's doing something right.
Yeah, and I feel like, again, we've talked about how the other, what are they called again? There's
other, like the non-MCU movies? Is that what you're talking about?
Not MCU, but what are the, so there's fucking Marvel. There's Sony kind
Marvel.
of, and then there
was Fox Marvel.
No, I'm talking about like
DC.
DC. What's their word? Universal. And then there's what's the other one? I'm forgetting.
Oh, so you're saying Warner Brothers, DC.
Yes, Warner Brothers. And
sorry, Warner Brothers, Fox.
Yeah, because we've always
Disney,
been talking about like what they've been doing and what they're starting to do. Right, they're learning from Marvel and be like, hey, these directors are fucking goated. We're just gonna give them free reign, and I love that they're learning from that. Like,
John Watts, who directs the Spider-Man movies, is the first Marvel director to complete a trilogy.
Wow.
No other Marvel director got to finish.
He's probably not on Twitter then.
No, I don't think he doesn't seem like...
That's how you do it. You just don't stir up controversy. Well,
like,
I mean...
the next movie he's directing is the Fantastic Four.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was coming out.
Yeah.
Is that in Marvel?
Yeah, like Marvel, like Kevin Feige, Marvel Studios, Marvel.
Whoa, I didn't realize that. I did. I honestly think I did see it, but I just passed it off as like it's probably some children's show or something.
But yes, this movie made a huge budget, but fucking huge box office.
Well, yeah, and then we look at River Cruise must have laundered money for fuck's sake.
Same budget.
So
for one Jungle Cruise, you get one Spider-Man.
Sorry, I called it River. Because I can't even remember
the fucking name of the movie.
I don't even remember any character. I know Dwayne Johnson
there was the
played
gay guy
himself. There was a gay Englishman.
Yeah.
And there was Emily Blunt, who I'm sad to say
is not Johnny Depp.
is not Johnny Depp, but also she like. Why did you say yes to that movie?
Watch our Jungle Cruise episode if you want to hear our thoughts on it.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
It's terrible.
It's not good.
It's awful. And it's $200 million.
Which is one Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yes.
And so I don't think this is that large of a budget as well. Like, I reckon Spider-Man 3 back in the day was roughly the same.
Yeah, and that movie was fucking huge.
My final point.
Mm-hmm.
I watched all these movies back to back.
Yes.
Spider-Man 3 and Spider-Man... I'm going to get a lot of hate for this. Spider-Man 3 and Spider-Man... The Amazing Spider-Man... Rise of Electro...
Yeah.
Are very similar to Spider-Man No Way Home.
Wow.
In that... If you ignore everything else and look at what they're doing with Peter Parker, it's a great movie. Mm-hmm. But then it gets a bit muddled and confused.
Especially Spider-Man 3.
By everything else.
Oh my god.
Now, Spider-Man No Way Home is way better, but it still falls into the same traps as those other movies, where it's dealing with so much that, when you're focusing on Peter, it works great, but other times it's a bit messy.
You kind of forget what the film's about.
Yeah.
Almost. Because so much. There's so many characters. You're like...
And that is very much the same as Spider-Man 3 and The Amazing Spider-Man 2. So while this is the best case scenario for doing this kind of movie, I'm still kind of scared of like Sony hasn't necessarily learnt their lessons.
No,
I
don't expect them.
They want all the villains, and you know, we thought we were going to get a Sinister Six in this movie. We got a Fantabulous Five instead.
No, we got a worse five.
It's supposed to start with F.
I know. What's a bad word that starts with F?
Fuck the fucking five. Right? So.
The fucking awful five.
The fucking awful five, right? So, but Sony will definitely want to do a Sinister Six.
Yeah, they will.
Eventually,
But
right?
like, okay, the one thing that Sony has under their belt is they know how to make money. They know how to make a lot of money. And
even Venom makes money.
Somehow they get children to watch that. Like, they're... My God.
I had a family lunch the other day.
Yeah.
And the kid is, I don't know, children age 5 or something.
Children age.
And I go, oh, who's your favourite superhero? And he goes, Venom. And I say, fuck off.
I give him an elbow.
Yeah, I drop kicked him, son.
Fucking idiot.
Because we grew up with Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man.
We grew up with Superman that looked like a he had, semen in his hair because it was so...
Yeah, Superman Returns?
Yeah, my God. Who else do we had? We had...
well, to be fair, we had Batman Begins, but my parents didn't let me watch it. They thought it was too dark.
I didn't know it existed. Like, I watched The Dark Knight before Batman Begins.
Oh, right.
Because I didn't know it existed.
Yeah, fair.
Which, like, when I did watch it, I was like, my God, this trilogy is amazing. But yeah, no, we grew up with proper superheroes instead of
Venom.
Tom Hardy.
They're really reaching the bottom of the barrel.
They are fucking hell.
Oh my God, I saw a trailer for Morbius before watching Spider-Man, and I was like, oh my fucking God. It's going to be so bad.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be, horrific.
They're literally, imagine, okay, there's like a guy, right? And, he's Sony. There's this guy, and he's Sony. And there's this oil barrel, and he's got a fucking, a piece of wood, and he's just poking the bottom of the barrel. And he's like, what the fuck?
How the fuck does Morbius have a movie and not Miles Morales?
Yeah. Yes!
Or Spider-Woman, or Spider-Gwen, or anyone else.
Gwen, oh my God.
No, we get fucking Morbius.
Yeah. Well, so they have the rights to Miles Morales.
Yeah.
What the fuck? A black Spider-Man today would go off.
Yeah, of course. It'd be, I don't get why they haven't done it yet.
I think they don't trust themselves, luckily.
I think they are, well, yeah.
Because they're like, we could fuck this up royally. We could just get the entirety of Spider-Man fans and just anybody that knows about BLM to just fucking hate us for
if you don't do it right.
Exactly, yeah. So maybe that's why. And they're like, okay, we'll give it to you, Marvel, hopefully. That'd be amazing. But
yes, the future for Spider-Man looks very bright. I think this is a good ending for the very Marvel Cinematic Universe version of the character. Of course, Spider-Man's going to stay in the Marvel Universe, but I think we're going to see a more Spider-Man.
Yes.
Not the poor man Spider-Man. Well, I guess the rich man Spider-Man we got.
Yeah.
We're going to now see the poor man Spider-Man, which is the one that everyone kind of wanted to see.
Exactly. The one that doesn't have Uncle Stark.
Or a fucking space drone.
Or knows Thor. Or Captain America. Or just any of the Avengers.
Yeah.
Because now they don't know him.
Yeah.
They don't know him. So they're going to rediscover him and be like, ooh, what the fuck? We have an Ant-Man and now a Spider-Man?
I think the logistics of this spell as well. It's like, look, it doesn't matter. It's a fucking movie. Yeah. But it's like, does it erase all videos and shit?
No.
Well, it would have had to, right? Yeah, otherwise, everyone can just be like, oh, wait a minute. This guy's Spider-Man. And, did Spider-Man... Was he in, Avengers Endgame still? Do people remember him fighting alongside the Avengers or not?
No. Even Thanos. You call up Thanos, he'd be like...
It's similar to...
I don't know, Peter Parker.
It's similar to Endgame when they bring everyone back and you're thinking about, okay, the logistics of it.
Oh, wait.
But they
didn't know who Peter Parker was. They just knew there's a man in a spider outfit.
Yeah.
So they would still know, there's a Spider-Man. But they wouldn't know who Peter Parker was.
So then is Spider-Man Far From Home just essentially irrelevant?
Yes.
Well, that's our review of Spider-Man No Way Home. Spider-Man Far From Home is irrelevant.
Yeah, and now Spider-Man has relocated his home to a shitty apartment.
I hope I hope this is not my suggestion, but this is what I hope. You know, they need to name this new trilogy something different. I doubt they'll keep the home thing. They'll do something else.
Yeah, they'll do.
I was
the
thinking
Great Spider. No, that one was terrible.
The Spectacular Spider-Man.
That sounds good. That has a nice ring to it. The Spectacular Spider, because they're both S's. I like that.
That's what I hope they do that, and we're seeing like this is Spider-Man.
Yeah. Or what else? I'm trying to think of what else. Like that's.
I don't know, they'll find something.
Yeah. They will
tie them together.
Yeah, they will.
Now, do you want to see more of Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield going forward? For example,
Andrew Garfield, yes.
Venom and Morbius need a Spider-Man. Do you make it Andrew Garfield?
Yes, you fucking do. Yes. Just like Sony should see his performance and be like,
people love him.
I would fucking pay money to see that again.
Yeah.
Because like he still has room to, like again, like I want to see him. I want to see him after losing Gwen. You know, I want to see how he's fucking dealing with it. Like, you know, pulling back the punches and stuff. I want to see what that looks like. Yeah. You know, Toby was like, I'm old. But
yeah, I agree.
That only translate to physical.
This movie made me want to see more of Andrew Garfield, but not necessarily more of Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, Toby's done. Toby did Boss Baby, and he was like,
there's probably a Boss Baby 3 or something he can be in.
There's a second Boss Baby.
And it's like a multiverse where all the Boss Babies throughout the multiverse come together.
Are you serious? Are
no.
You fucking...
What is a Boss Baby?
There'd be...
Why is a baby a boss?
There would be a Matrix Boss Baby, and then there'd be...
Ooh.
Speaking of
the Matrix, we do have to wrap up this episode. I think we covered everything we need to. Next week, we will be talking about the Matrix... Resurrections?
Yes. It is funny because when I was watching the trailers for No Way Home, I saw the Ghostbusters movie also is coming out.
That's also coming out.
So it's funny how both these films are being rebooted. Once Ghostbusters already had, but that didn't really work.
Because of the women. No, that was not the issue with the movie.
That was not
the movie is bad because it was poorly written, not because of women.
Exactly.
All right, can we just make that clear?
And it didn't help that Chris Hemsworth was the only good character in that film.
Yeah. Exactly. He was all right.
He was good in that. And then the girls were just written very badly.
But yes.
It was just not a good film at all. But this one looks really good. It looks scary. It's got Paul Rudd in it.
They've gone for a very different direction.
They have. And I think that's a good direction. Honestly, like there's kids involved.
Well, of course. It's just like Stranger Things but Ghostbusters.
Exactly. And that's what we need because Stranger Things honestly is scary. Like it's creepy. This is in today's era. I was thinking because Stranger Things is what in the 80s or some shit, 70s, 80s.
Yeah, this is modern.
All right. Yeah, okay.
Because this is set in the same universe as the original movies.
Yes, I see. All right.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we'll review them side by side.
Yeah.
And I think that Ghostbusters is honestly going to be the better reboot.
I really don't know about Matrix, man. No, I really don't know.
I mean, I love Keanu, but I think he was a better actor.
Look, there's only been one good Matrix movie.
And, I like them all. I like the whole trilogy. Mate, I thought it was fucking good.
He gets Matrix powers outside of the Matrix. He gets blinded and he can still see.
That is true. That is very true.
Anyway, we'll say maybe they nail it. Maybe they come up with a whole new thing.
Like, I honestly doubt it. Like, it's so difficult.
Even the trailers didn't look particularly good.
I think it's just going to be a cash grab, honestly. But I really want my expectations to be shattered. Because I love the fucking trilogy. It's amazing. Like, when it came out, I loved it was shot in Sydney as well. Like,
yeah.
But, like, when it came out, it was just the most influential film. Like, it's huge, you know? And I don't want to be like The Godfather was when he's like, look how they massacred my boy.
Look at how
they massacred this fucking amazing franchise.
And I'm something of a scientist myself.
Yeah, I'm something of a tired person myself. I was gonna try and say something so we'd like if that makes sense, but I'm not talented or comedic. Look,
let's just say caliber. We don't stick the nailing as well as Spider-Man No Way Home does.
Yeah, that's true, because we do have a home. All right, on that terrible.
We can't just keep ripping off Top Gear, man.
We can't. If you've watched Top Gear, we're sorry that we keep ripping it off. If you haven't, we're not ripping it off. We're so much funny.
It's what we do.
We're so much funny. We have it.
We're so much funny.
We have it in our pockets.
Hey, wait, let's do that. Get it? Like the meme.
Oh, like the meme on the Spider-Man?
Like Spider-Man.
Where they're looking at each other and they're
if you're an audio listener, we just pointed at each other.
Yeah, we're just fucking like pointing at each other like fucking...
Anyway, thank you very much for listening. We're a podcast now. Check us out. We're on Spotify, Apple, Google, YouTube,
Windows, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5,
potentially
Xbox.
Not limited to any of those operating systems. You just
join us.
Yeah, join us.
Join us.
Yes. Thank you very much. And see you next week when we talk about Matrix and Ghostbusters.
Yeah. I love you.